Joining us now is Oji Okpe. Genix, Ojinika,
really?
The whole lot. With stories trending around the world.
The whole lot. What else is there?
You know I have more names.
Okay.
Should I?
Try.
It's a bit personal. I know your mama.
Mommy Oz.
Yes. Yes. Mommy Oz. Mama Mela.
Yeah.
A woman who wears many hats.
Oh, yes, sweet.
Good morning, Ojinika.
Yeah. I love that color. You have to tell me what it is. Let's
I love
do
your
Dr.
dress.
Now, what's that color?
Oh, should we do the color game? So we have here brush strokes, darling. We have like a coral, we have a turquoise. We have a little splash of aquamarine.
I know the turquoise is your pendant.
Yeah, so that's to like complement
You look lovely. You look
And
lovely.
you know when you said brush strokes, and I looked at the beauty of the brush strokes, and I said, it is well done on this your lovely canvas called.
The Rufai the poet.
Okay. Nice.
Rufai. Now
Morning,
that's
Oji.
yellow, bright and yellow.
Yes.
But yeah, I like this burnt orange.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
He said it, right?
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Always.
Good morning,
always.
guys. We're missing
Morning,
Dr.
Oji.
Amati.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, Amanda Gorman, the 23-year-old poet whose reading of her own The Hill We Climb at President Joe Biden's inauguration made her an international sensation, released a new work on Wednesday to mark the end of 2021. The poem, titled New Day's Lyric, according to Gorman, is to honor the hardship, hurt, hope, and healing of 2021, while also highlighting the potential of 2022. In Jordan, a video showing several lawmakers trading punches in a brawl in the country's parliament that was shown live on national TV has gone viral. The fight began as the MPs were discussing constitutional amendments that guarantees equal rights of all citizens. Under sports in India, a new statue of Portuguese football legend Cristiano Ronaldo sparked controversy in the state of Goa, with residents objecting to the star being honored instead of a player from India. On Wednesday, after the 882-pound statue was unveiled, protesters trooped out carrying black flags. The protesters also expressed that the selection of a Portuguese star was seen as a particular affront, given that Portugal occupied Goa as a colony for centuries, only leaving the state 60 years ago. And the Nigerian Football Federation announced on Wednesday the appointment of Portuguese tactician Jose Peseiro as the new head coach for the Super Eagles. Peseiro is expected to be at the 2022 Africa Cup of Nations as an observer, while interim coach Augustine Guavon will be in the dugout at the tournament in Cameroon next month. Finally, under entertainment, British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted on Wednesday of luring teenage girls to be sexually abused by the late American millionaire Jeffrey Epstein. Jurors deliberated for 5 full days before finding Maxwell guilty of 5 out of 6 counts of sexual abuse, with the maximum prison terms for each charge ranging from 5 to 40 years in prison. The verdict capped a month-long trial featuring sordid accounts by 4 women of the sexual exploitation of girls as young as 14. Victory at last, we would say, on this issue with these 4 women that were brave enough to stand through the whole, I believe it was, 6 months of trial, giving their account of horrible incidents that happened to them with Jeffrey Epstein and all of these people. But I'm glad that this has happened. But then, what does it mean for all the people that she's mentioned? She's mentioned Prince Andrew, and she's also mentioned Donald Trump, and all of these people. What do you think will be their fate at this point?
Well, it depends. So the 4 witnesses The main accuser, Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, was not a part of this trial. She didn't testify in this trial. She's seeking civil damages against Prince Andrew. So that's a different case. But for me, Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm so relieved that she has been found guilty, and I truly hope she dies in jail. It is important that she dies in jail, truly, because her crimes, her crimes are heinous.
Important.
It is important. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. No, it might be more than 40 years. It depends on if the judge sentences her concurrently or consecutively. It might be 65 years. And right now she's 60. So it's not looking good for Ghislaine. No more parties, no more popping champagne, no more abusing little girls. Why I find her so revolting, why her crimes are so heinous, I don't mean to bring gender into it, but it's because she's a woman. How can you as a woman go to camps, go to malls, and be scouting for young girls who maybe come from broken homes, are disadvantaged, that you can then embrace, you can then groom? They trust you because she's a woman and because she's so upper class. You know, her pedigree. Her father was a squillionaire, and they think she's some fine, upstanding citizen with her cut glass English accent, and then they trust her, and she delivers them to a predator to ruin their life. Well, he didn't ruin their lives. I don't believe anybody can ruin your life, but you can damage somebody's life. He damaged those girls, and many of them, and she did not do it once or 3 times or 10 times. We're talking about decades of helping a sexual predator groom children. I mean, what kind of a sick individual is this? And I think the only way she can redeem herself at this point, slightly, is if she sings like a canary. We need her to sing. We need her to expose how deep this rot goes. Because it's his private jet, his Boeing 727, called the Lolita Express, has some of the most high-profile people. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, he used to use that jet to ferry girls. He had a private island in the Caribbean. This is the kind, and he had all these gated mansions, behind the gates, all kinds of horrors. He was raping children. 14, the lady who testified under the name Jane, it's not her real name, only one of them waived her anonymity. The Jane lady said Ghislaine not only groomed her, she also joined in the sexual abuse. I mean, we're talking about really disgusting crimes here. But she has to now, at this point, I don't believe she's a moral person, clearly, so it might not even be about redemption, but maybe to save her own skin, maybe to reduce her sentence to 10 years or whatever, she has to deliver some of the bigwigs that were also, complicit in these crimes. She must sing, she has to talk. And that's the theory, the conspiracy theory, that there were fears in certain circles, the most powerful circles in the world, that Jeffrey Epstein would expose them, which is why they had him bumped off. He was found hanging in his cell, ostensibly a suicide. But you don't know. But now that she's been convicted, I think she has to really help the prosecution and be decent and useful for once in her life.
I agree with you.
Good riddance.
Good riddance. But Epstein was so selfish. I wonder what the type of crime he's committed that he just had to kill himself in prison. I think it was suicide.
No, he's done more. And I think saying he was selfish is a pat on the back. No, he wasn't selfish. He was dangerous, he was deadly, and he knew what he stood for. He was a con man par excellence and a scam. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was. Because when you even go back historically, how did he make his money? Nobody knows. He was a middleman for this, middleman for that, helped people hide money in British Virgin Islands, amassed all of this contact and used this money to brutalize women, to destroy women, girls.
They were not even women,
they were not even women, they were girls.
Children.
To destroy the life of other people. And Ghislaine got paid for it because the court accounts show that she got $30 million in payment between her and Jeffrey Epstein. So you must know it must have been an industry, and there were some other rich people that have been mentioned, and this will affect royal families across the world. This will affect former presidents. I said presidents, because the likes of Bill Clinton was mentioned in all of this. Anybody that was associated with Jeffrey Epstein. One of the reasons Bill Gates did give, when they talked about his association with Jeffrey Epstein, he said he wanted Jeffrey Epstein to help him, so get some contact to donate to his charitable causes. And I say, you had nobody to turn to but Jeffrey Epstein. So we all see how his association with Jeffrey Epstein has cost him his marriage. His wife has divorced him.
But is that why, though? We don't know that. That's speculation.
I mean, that's speculations, but a great deal of it is when the conversation opened up when it was revealed that he had dealings with Jeffrey Epstein, and his wife did say specifically, to go close to that man.
Were you there?
It was reported.
Tundu is a lawyer.
So, speculation. Yes. Secondly, the people involved is another thing. The people involved.
I want to know what's going to happen.
Bill Clinton. Yeah, definitely. You want to know what's going to happen to Prince Andrew?
No, she might decide to sing and name him.
Yeah,
she might
Prince Andrew.
If she names him, if she names Prince Andrew, oh well and good. But I think apart from that, there must be a civil action against Prince Andrew.
Yeah, that's happening now. That Virginia
there must be an action
has gone to court
against Prince Andrew, and the royal family must let him face the music.
Yes,
and he must have to even speak and say more people that were affected. Because you see, in all of this, we're only talking about 4 ladies. How about the people that committed suicide as a result of their abuse?
And there are many that could never come forward.
How about people that can never come forward because of this? They will never come forward,
so they're just watching all of this. But you know, for me, as a lawyer, I'm very comfortable talking about Ghislaine because she has been convicted.
Yes.
I'm comfortable calling Jeffrey Epstein a pedophile and a sexual predator because he was convicted.
Yes.
If you have not been convicted, if there's no proof, if no jury or judge of competent jurisdiction has found you guilty, I'm not very comfortable just throwing things around you. There's a conviction, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying, as strongly as I'm saying it. I've always had these opinions, but until there's a conviction, it remains in the element, there's doubt. Because the people that used his homes, beautiful homes all over the world, people like Donald Trump, will say that it was a social relationship. How were they supposed to know that he was a predator? Yeah. They were just hanging out. And people like, I don't know, captains of industry who hopped on his Lolita Express were like, oh no, it was just a flight to New York. We just had a conversation. I had nothing else to do with him. People, he had his little black book of all the names and addresses of the most powerful people in the world. Many people are saying, I don't even know how he had my number. So until she is able to shed light, she has to testify against people, she has to give evidence to support her testimony, then we cannot say for sure if all those people were merely acquaintances or they were accomplices.
Right. Time will tell. Kudos to the judicial system, to the legal system, you know, for the courage to be able to do this. But more people need to go down.
Yes.
We'll say victory at last. We'll take another story. The alleged abduction and extortion of a popular relationship coach, Solomon Buchi, in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has generated mixed reactions on social media. In a flurry of tweets on Wednesday, Buchi alleged that men of the Abuja Police Command abducted him and his younger brother, assaulted them, and stole the sum of 500,000 naira from his account via POS, in addition to taking other valuables. Buchi also alleged that the policemen treated them like criminals and labeled them as members of the indigenous people of Biafra, tweeting that his first crime for being kidnapped by the Nigerian police was being Igbo. The policemen allegedly handcuffed them and pushed them into the trunk of their vehicle and threatened to kill them. The story has caught the attention of the Commissioner of Police for the Federal Capital Territory, Sunday Babaji, who has ordered an immediate investigation into the incident. I mean, this was... Is it safe to call Nigeria a banana republic now? I mean, if this actually happened. I mean, the account was so detailed, Rufai. Did you read all of his tweets?
I read all the accounts, how they took him out of town, they drove for over 2 hours, extorted him, they got everything from him. One thing has to be said. We have a police service commission. This is the time they have to swing into action. I'm waiting for the investigation.
Yes.
Because this is what we keep saying about police brutality. And they can paint you in any way to make a case just to extort you. We've had cases where police officers, while they say they want to search your car, they drop incriminating items in your car.
Yes, we've heard that.
And they say they found it in your car just to collect money. Those police officers must be fished out and they must face the full wrath of the law. The Police Service Commission must come in, the police should do their investigation, and we must follow this to the very end. Because part of the conversation we had in the NSAS protest was about this. There must be a commission that investigates action from police officers like that. The conversation on being IPOB members, it's a trick some officers are now using to intimidate people. And increasingly, this is not the first case. No, I've heard another one like that. Yeah. That they're so quick to paint you with a brush. Oh, oh, you're this, you're that. And they'll
just
say...
Just because you say you're from Imo State? Because that's all he said.
And what they'll say is, they'll say, if I kill you, I'll say I killed the IPOB member. We should stop this.
I mean, what?
Police officers should stop this. They should stop this. And that's why you're seeing the counter-aggression. They are good police officers, don't get me wrong. But the bad police officers are the ones that are getting the counter-aggression. Apart from that, his brother's crypto account in Chip was hacked, was looked at.
Yes.
Now they're beginning to target crypto account because they know most of those bitcoins and things like that, they have money in them. So they are taking money from people increasingly. So there are cases like that, and we should watch it. We should watch it. And please, police IG, call your boys to order.
Chundu, your analysis
this
on this
is
topic.
Deeply disturbing.
Yes.
I will never call Nigeria a banana republic, as tempting as it is, because I'm always hopeful about this country. But you hear something like this, and even I am tempted to do it. I just won't. It's so disgraceful the way this man was treated. And beyond his own individual nightmare at the hands of the police, you now start to wonder how many people, we just talked about the Ghislaine Maxwell case and how some of the victims never come forward. This happens to people all the time, and they just go and lick their wounds and get on with their life. They don't bother to tweet it, they don't bother to discuss it. This is actually a common situation that he's highlighting here. And I'm glad that the Commissioner of Police has responded and said they're going to investigate it. That's great. But it should not be happening at all at this point. What is the point of all the lives that were lost during the NSAS protest? Did those people die for nothing? If this is still happening in Nigeria, it should have been the end of police brutality in all ramifications. And yet it persists. And also just another issue that I have to say is about Twitter. The fact that he's used Twitter in such a positive way to highlight what he went through. It's an easy way, accessible way for any Nigerian. I mean, I don't have a Twitter account, but I do support the use of Twitter. And I really completely disapprove of the continued ban of Twitter. If he did not have the wherewithal to get himself a VPN, you would never have this story. Everybody listening to this story wouldn't know that this had happened to him. He's going to just sit on his phone and text a few friends and that'll be it. He has used Twitter to really highlight a problem that we had all hoped is in the past. You're thinking in your little cushy universe that it's actually okay to walk around and say you're from Imo. Apparently not. Apparently that's now a danger to you. That has to also be addressed. The continued stigmatization of everything and everybody from the Southeast. It is a problem. It has to be addressed. We have to stop this. I mean, where does this end? We know that IPOB and the federal government, that situation is what it is. But being Igbo and being a member of IPOB are two distinct things. What kind of discrimination, what kind of disgraceful ethnic profiling is this? That because you are born Igbo, you must now be a member of a proscribed terrorist organization, which is what IPOB is in the federal government. So that, by extension, because you're Igbo, you are a criminal. Is that what you're trying to suggest?
That's what
it is a disgrace.
That's what he said in his
This is a disaster on so many different levels. And it highlights so many of our problems: abuse of authority, police brutality, and marginalization. It highlights this is everything that's wrong with this country in one story.
The marginalization got
it's disgraceful.
There. I mean, that's exactly what he said. That the police are trying to divide Nigeria because that's what they're doing at this point. And I want to add
this real quickly. Let's be careful.
That's the case.
And that's why I think the ride-hailing companies should do better. Profile the drivers even more. There have been cases of ride-hailing drivers conniving with police officers, driving them passengers to where police officers are.
As it was mentioned in this case.
As it was mentioned in this case. And then the ride-hailing driver will get his cut from police officers after police officers harass them and collect money from them. So there's been a case of connivance between ride-hailing drivers and police officers. We must stop that. The ride-hailing company must take responsibility. We must profile drivers and passengers, because the drivers do complain about passengers not being profiled properly. And we should, in this investigation, track it back to the ride-hailing driver that picked them up.
Yes, and deliver them to this kind of ordeal.
Because there's complicity in this. It's a racket. It's ongoing.
I cannot believe what happened. But you know what? I'm glad. I like the fact that the response from the police, because we're seeing now that they are acting swiftly. I mean, they've ordered an investigation, and we're waiting for that investigation. We'll take our final story. The governor of Kastina State, Aminu Masari, has come under fire for calling on residents of the state to arm themselves and confront bandits because security officials alone cannot tackle insecurity in the state. While speaking during a media parley with journalists at the Muhammadu Buhari House in Katsina, the governor said it was Islamically allowed for one to defend oneself, family, and assets, and that if one was to die while trying to defend themselves, the person will be considered a martyr. Reactions have always trailed Masari's calls for self-defense. In July, after his initial call for self-defense, some youth in the state organized a catapult training so they will be ready for armed bandits attack. Well, let's take some tweets. I guess we have one tweet. One person says, "So finally, we have agreed that the government of Nigeria today can no longer protect the citizens. This will be the beginning of another anarchy when we already have bandits and herdsmen roaming our streets unchallenged with AK-47s. We are getting close daily to a failed state." Tundrabiola.
You know the part that gets me? Yeah. Well, we've discussed this in the news headlines and in the newspaper review, but the part that we didn't discuss, well, I didn't mention, is the martyrdom aspect. Yeah. I cannot believe he went there. It's bad enough. The rest of the statements is bad enough. Like you said, OG, it's not the first time he's made this call. But that martyrdom, that is actually a dog whistle. You're actually encouraging people to get themselves killed.
Exactly what he's
That's
doing.
what you're doing. And that's exactly, he's taking a leaf from the books of those who train and radicalize Muslims and tell them to go and be terrorists, go and bomb people. You'll be a martyr. You'll go straight to Al-Jannah. You'll go to heaven and you'll have all the virgins and what have you. So that is that dog whistle that he's trying to do. And that's actually a really dangerous thing to say. It's an encouragement. And rather than encourage people to get themselves killed, how about you, the authorities, do what you ought to do? I actually agree when President Buhari often seems to pass the buck in some ways, but he has a point. What are the governors doing? He tends to pass the buck to the governors, he does. But really, what are you doing? You're the chief security officer. If you've run out of ideas, that's fine. You can just simply resign and let somebody else, try their best. This idea of everybody take up arms, number one, is illegal in Nigeria. We have strict gun control laws. Only the enactments of the National Assembly will change that. It's not by a governor's fiat that everybody can go and be armed to the teeth. No. And secondly, even if you acquire the arms, illegal as they are, because we do have a lot of small arms in Nigeria rattling around. If you do get the arms, you're committing a crime, but how do you use them? Somebody's going to have to train you. If you're not trained, then really what's the point? You become a danger to yourself and to other people. So he's suggesting a simplistic, illegal approach to this situation. And I did say earlier, and trying to be fair, I did say he's making efforts. He's doing the best he knows how to do. Those efforts began, he thought in his wisdom, limited as it is, that those efforts should begin with trying to appease the bandits. And we all saw what happened with Neville Chamberlain trying to appease Hitler. You don't keep aggressors pacific by kowtowing to them. It only encourages, it only emboldens them. That failed. So this is his next bright idea. He just clearly does not have the capacity to deal with the issues. And it's not all his fault. I think that the northern region needs to band together the same way as the Southwest did with the regional outfit Amotekun. That has been effective. I don't know why the North has these governors trying to operate in silos. It's not working. They need to band together. They need to find a collective solution to this situation. And that is not arm yourself and get yourself killed and be a martyr and go to heaven. What is that?
But he also mentioned that the police will assist. I don't know what type of legal backing that he'll have with that.
No, there isn't any. And then the police, as he said, there's only 3,000 of them, the police officers. We've stretched
with
so
acquiring the weapons
what he's proposing is illegal.
It's completely
illegal.
Yeah.
So, two things. It just shows the man is very helpless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shows we have very terrible security situations in our country. And it's not only the North, every part of the country. So what do we do at this point in time? This is the time to go back to the Constitution and start that restructuring Wallace talked about. The governors cannot really do anything. Let's not deceive ourselves.
So what about the security vote? What are they spending?
They get the security votes. The best they can do is to buy cars for police and add 1 or 2 guns. Probably, I'm not even sure they can even buy guns with the money because all the things they buy, they'll still have to submit to Abuja.
Yeah, but they can buy them.
And Abuja will have to be the one to do the allocation to them.
Yeah, but you can invest in weapons.
And you fall short.
Did.
And you fall short. Even if you invest in weapons, you still need manpower. So you fall short one way or the other. So I think what they should do is they could adopt a method that has worked in the Southwest here.
Yes.
Amotekun.
Yes.
You must have a brigade of some sort that bolsters, the efforts of the police. It worked during the time of, I don't want to sound like a broken record player, time of Goodluck Jonathan. They had something called the civilian JTF.
And they still do.
They still do, but I'm not sure they're allowed to serve in the capacity at which they served that time that got results. So if it's a JTF or it's a civilian, whatever, you must have a force of people that you can arm in the states and that can go after this bandit. We need more boots on the ground.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two would be long-term development of those areas. Go and look at the poverty indices in all these areas. Go and look at the education indices. It's
but
poor.
he said it's the sons of our neighbors coming in here. So that is his saying. It's foreigners, our neighbors coming in through our porous borders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, there'll be more reactions to this story. I can guarantee you on that.
For sure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Oji.
Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.